The WHA has a long history of determinations from 1996 to the present, which established violence as a leading worldwide public health problem. The advancement of resolutions regarding violence is striking in many regards, but perhaps most significantly in its identification of health system actors as critical change agents, and its emphasis on women, girls, and children. World Vision contributed to the development of two key guidance documents in 2016. First, the Global Plan of Action to strengthen the role of health system to address interpersonal violence, and second, the Inspire guidance. Both of these documents highlight the need to address violence against children in a multi-sectoral way, and both also point to the leading role that health systems and health actors need to play to both address and prevent violence against women, girls, and children. World Vision was a proud supporter of the development of this year's World Health Assembly Resolution 74.17 on ending violence against children through health system strengthening and multi-sector approaches. Sadly, since the earlier WHA resolutions, interpersonal violence against children has not decreased. Violence affects an estimated 1 billion children with many early, acute, and lifelong intergenerational consequences. So we must invest more in ending violence against children. First, because this violence puts children at an increased risk of delayed cognitive development, mental health conditions, high risk and health harming behaviors, and further interpersonal and self-directed violence. Secondly, we must do more because we can do more. Morality must march with our capacity. Following on these decades of warnings and resolutions and the tragic experience of millions of children for whom violence was not prevented, we must all assume responsibility for ensuring improved systems and services to protect them. My team in World Vision is committed to the health sector's involvement in ending violence against children. And aside from our advocacy and technical support for the WHO guidance and resolutions, we are continuously exploring ways that health actors can do more to end violence against children. As one example, in 2019, we conducted a survey with 412 community health workers in 4 countries with the support of the Enrich project funded by the Canadian government. That was in Bangladesh, Kenya, Myanmar, and Tanzania. We did that in order to better understand the role that CHWs were playing and could play in ending violence against children. Through that study, we found that 76% of community health workers reported observing any form of violence against children during the course of the work. This is a key finding and shows that community health workers are well placed to observe what is happening with children, despite it sometimes being a more hidden behavior. And over 74% of community health workers in the 4 countries studied perceived all forms of violence against children to be very serious. We also found that community health workers in the 4 countries witnessed violence against children at a very high rate through their work, which helped confirm the existing country-level data about the prevalence of different forms of violence. Harsh physical discipline, verbal abuse, neglect, and child marriage all stood out as major issues across all 4 countries, with child marriage affecting mainly girls, of course, and harsh physical discipline mainly affecting boys. We also found that CHWs mostly believed it was already part of their role to prevent and respond to violence against children, particularly in terms of counseling, prevention, and referrals. Over 60% reporting taking action after witnessing abuse. CHWs were highly motivated to receive training on VAC-related issues, but only 23% reported receiving that training. CHWs also needed better support systems since only 16% of them identified existing child protection groups in their community. We also identified several barriers to having CHWs engaging in ending violence against children, with the chief amongst them being a lack of training, which is very fixable. Our CHW research is just one example of the actions that need to be taken at one level of the health system. Ending violence against children requires similar assessment and action at every level and among all actors. In World Vision, we hope and pray that health ministries everywhere will keep this year's resolution at the front of their UHC agenda and become the champions and leaders for the elimination of violence against children that they need to be. Thank you.